Hello, everyone, and welcome to another summer school session. Today is all about story. We're going to keep it really tight, really concise, and we're going to give you something to think about and something to take action on so that you can move forward and pull people towards you. Because I bet you can't remember the last sale that you ever experienced, unless it was a bad one. But you will remember the last TV program. You'll remember the last movie you watched, the last conversation you had. Why? Because they will all include elements of story. I want to give you something very simple to consider today so that you can take away with it and you can use it in your videos, in your written posts, in your infographics, in everything you do. You can take an element, small essence, a little bit of seasoning to put in your content and make it that more interesting so that actually your content doesn't fall foul of tumbleweed. So guys, please let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you over on YouTube? Are you in the Heartbrand Academy? Are you in Tea with Steve? Are you in I Am a Personal Brand, or are you on our public pages? Let me know, because today I've gone a little bit crazy with where we're streaming this. And why is that? Why is that? Because we want to impact so many people, but we want to make sure it's relevant to the audiences. So please let me know in the comments where you're tuned in from. I can see we've got live viewers. I'm going to keep you here for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So enjoy a brew with me. I've got old school. It's builders in here today. And we'll enjoy the process of giving you an insight into story. Because I asked you this question: do you ever get self-conscious when you talk about yourself? Let me know in the comments. I know it's very much a British thing. Hey Alison, how are you? So you're tuning in on literally every channel, and we've got Amanda here as well, who is tuning in the Heartbrand Academy all the way from New York. Much love. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. So I asked you the question about, do you get self-conscious about talking about yourself? Because stories are about us. Our stories are ultimately about us, and we should be aware of how these make us feel. Hey Pio, how you doing? So we should be aware of how these things make us feel. Because we've got to tell stories. If we aren't telling stories, if we're not keeping people's attention, and our content will just go boom. So if I don't share a story with you now, bear in mind I'm talking about story, then the chances are you'll just go somewhere else. You say, do you know what? I got 30 seconds, that'll do. So today I was having a chat in my mastermind community with Raymond and Andrew, and we were talking about actually my personal brand. And we were talking about the new YouTube channel and how last night's video went live and it's doing much better than last week's video. It's actually about 4 or 5 views off what we got last week, just literally in 12 hours. So it was like, what's happened? And I shared the different things that I talked about. And then Raymond said to me, he literally gave me a bit of a rollicking. He said, so did you make this piece of content for the audience we talked about last week? And I was like, what? Yeah, people like me, entrepreneurs, left the day job, etc., etc., etc. He said, no, the other piece. Oh, you mean parents? Yeah, well, I'm a parent, blah, blah, blah. He went, no, the other piece. And I was like, yeah, because I help parents build a business online, but also people who have a chronic illness, because I am a parent and I have a chronic illness. So we got into that conversation, and literally because I hadn't focused in, and we've brainstormed this morning, then he literally gave me a bit of a kick, and I'm grateful for that kick. Now you're saying chronic illness. Yeah, chronic illness is one of those things you can't necessarily see. For me, it's an invisible illness. I suffer with bowel disease and I have to have injections each week and this, that, and the other. Now, that's not going to be very interesting to many of you. Some of you it will be. Some of you might have Crohn's. I know Alison's got colitis as well, and she's open. So it's not oh, I shouldn't be talking about that. There's people with ADHD. There's people with, Ehlers-Danlos, my wife has. So all these things are part of our stories, what I'm getting to. And I want to serve and help those people who feel a challenge, that they maybe find their condition or illness a bit quite debilitating. I mean, my mum had cancer, so there's nothing to say that you can't work through that and still build a personal brand, an online business through that, and turning your mess into a message. So we all have something going on. And it's interesting what Raymond said is, well, have you incorporate that in this brand new video? And I said, actually, no, I haven't as such. Touched on it ever so slightly, but not dived into it. Because Every movie has a story. Our lives are movies. We live these movies every single day. And what you'll find in every movie is you'll have a hero, and they will go on a journey, and there'll be a transformation or an achievement or some form of outcome. Let me know if you can recall the last movie or the last Netflix series or the last program you watched. It will have someone going through a struggle and coming out the other end. Whether it's a soap opera, whether it's, say a movie, Netflix series, it'll have something like that. So I want to share with you how you can consider that. Now, if I can be a little bit magical here and pull up something that's just come to my head that I actually haven't got planned. So if you can hang on and bear with me literally for 1 minute, I will dive into the Heartbrand Academy and show you a piece of material, because it wasn't what I was going to show you on here, but I thought, you know what? If I can keep the flow going enough to get through all the different files and find this thing, then you will. There we go. Look at that. So if I can go down to present, if we can say share screen, if I do that, and then if I find that, you should be able to see this. Let's see. Can you see it? So let me just change let me just drop into a corner. Does that work? No. Does that work? No. That's the one I'm looking for. So excuse the backdrop, but this is the hero's journey. This is a piece of pull from our Heartbrand Academy. Now, what you'll see there is you'll have a backstory. That first point is the backstory. This wasn't what I was going to share with you today, okay? But I think it's really important that you take a look at this. Okay, so let's just bring this up here. No, we'll go back over there. This first piece is the backstory. And I'm not going to go all the way through this for you, but I want you to consider your backstory and just identify, after you come off this video, just identify 4, 5, maybe 10 different points in your life where you've been through something which has helped you get to where you are today. It might be an example from me. I had a conflict at work 11 years ago where I was told not to use social media because you can't measure the return on investment. Yet I'd hit all my targets for my boss. So that's a milestone. It's a point in time where I can recall. Okay. I built my side hustle alongside the day job, and then I launched my agency 8 months later. That's a milestone. And the idea with these milestones from your backstory, that point 1, we'll stop sharing that now, is that you can, bear with me, you can share scenes from these backstories to really spice up and season your video content or your written post or your image. You might use, let me just pick on Alison for a moment. She's been sharing some of her backstory with regards to how she's come to her new coaching program. So she shared a story with an image from back in the day, from her youth, if you will. How she's this lady over here. This was her, and now she's married. So she shared a couple of images that told the story of what was in the written content, and you can do that too. So your challenge today, if you choose to accept it, is just to sit down with your favorite beverage. Obviously, I choose tea, pen and paper, and say, what have I been through? What have I been through? And how can I use these scenes to season my content? And you'll be like, well, I sell balloons. Who cares what I did in 1994? Well, you might have been at art school, or you might have been at work experience with, I don't know, a circus, or, a crafting company, or working in a card shop. You need to sit down and say, where have I come from? I've shared them with you. I talk about in this, my time as a police officer, because the biggest transferable skills that I have there were about my levels of communication. And actually, the YouTube video that went live last night shared how I took my transferable skills around communication and put them into digital media, social media in particular. I shared that story in the video last night. So we have stories that we can share as seasoning. Sit down, pen and paper, write a few down, and then literally if you have not done the 30-day daily diary, pick up your phone and tell a story into your phone. Delete the end of go live, you can delete it afterwards. But what you can do is you can start to practice, because you're not going to get good unless you practice. I used the analogy the other day. Ronaldo didn't get great at scoring penalties from just kicking the ball once. He had to practice. You and I, we didn't just jump in a car and learn to drive. We had to have lessons and we practiced. So go and sit down and write some milestones, write some, interesting stories. You might find some funny anecdotes, and before you know, you're creating a post. So guys, I hope you've found that useful today. Please share your stories. Throw them in the comments. If there's anything you've got questions on, please let me know. And I will, there'll be a rerun of this tonight at 7 o'clock. And you will see me on Monday for another live stream. Take care. Have an awesome rest of your week. Keep creating content. Keep smashing it. Try to get it out there. Have some fun with it. And I will see you on Monday. Take care. Much love. Big Daddy out.